Say hello to a new friend on an old road. Take a two-lane trip of memories into mysteries unknown. Come along for the ride. Jim Hinckley's America. Jim Hinckley's America.
Hey, good morning, my friends. Guess what? It's summer. So it's going to be a little warm here in western Arizona today. If you're traveling, always try to keep that in mind and travel with a bit of water. If you don't need it, you might find somebody who does, and pay attention to the heat. Use a little bit of common sense. We're going to do something a little different today. I get inundated with request information about things like driving Route 66 in a vintage car or electric vehicles. And I get a lot of questions about things happening in communities. And this is kind of a roundabout way, but I want you to participate in this today, join in. I'm reading a book, and it's got me to really thinking about some things, how this ties into Route 66. Be patient. I'm one of these people who do believe the wheel bearing is connected to the muffler. But I'm reading a book, The Luckiest Man, Life with John McCain. And it got me to thinking about Route 66. I think most everyone would agree that the magic of Route 66 is the people. It's the people that make Route 66 special. It doesn't matter driving it in a vintage vehicle or an electric vehicle. There's people out there that'll help you. They'll give you details. When it comes to an electric vehicle, you can't beat folks like Jessica and Mike May. They're out there. Paul Shin. If you're traveling with a Model A, you got Tebow Barn in New Hampshire and Paul Shin in California. They'll help you. But what about communities? Like I say, I'm getting kind of out in the weeds a bit here, but today I want to talk about the people that make Route 66 special. More importantly, the people behind the scenes that make Route 66 special. The inspirational people. Now, I don't want this to be a one-way conversation. I already have too much time to talk and argue with myself. And so feel free to speak up and chime in. I want to hear about people that inspire you by what they're doing on Route 66, in Route 66 communities. They're doing it for no other reason than it's the right thing to do. They want to build a stronger sense of community in their hometown. They want to build a stronger Route 66 community. That's kind of what I want to talk about today. And I got a little bit of a personal experience on this. 2014, the city of Kingman hosted the International Route 66 Festival. And as I look back on it, I realized this was a milestone event in Route 66 history. It was a game changer. It was the first time that we had representatives from all the European Route 66 associations in attendance. We had Kaiser Bartuli here, National Park Service Route 66 Corridor Preservation Program Director. Michael Wallace, the acclaimed author and, the inspiration pretty much behind the movie Cars. That event came together because of people. Now, when you Google search information about that event, my name comes up a lot. Yes, I played a big part in this. But it was Dora Manley. I provided the contacts. I provided a lot of information. I helped facilitate meetings. But it was Dora Manley, working behind the scenes. Dora Manley that organized coalitions of partnerships, because we didn't really have a lot of community interest in this event. As far as at the city level, Chamber of Commerce at that time, didn't have a lot of interest in this. They did not see its potential. But from that event, that was the first discussions about the European Route 66 Festival. You can still find it on YouTube under Mojave County. We hosted a several-day seminar about crossroads of the past and future. And we had speakers like Dries Bessels from the Dutch Route 66 Association, Roderick Wild from the Historic Electric Vehicle Foundation. That became the annual Miles of Possibility Conference. And that instrumental event really is owed to unsung heroes, to inspirational people who were working behind the scenes. And for Route 66 to survive into the centennial and beyond, it's going to be dependent on these kind of people. Have you in your travels, have you met people that no one's heard of, basically, nobody knows about, but they've made incalculable contributions to preserving Route 66, to ensuring its vitality, to ensuring the traveler has the best experience, and to keeping the Route 66 experience vital and alive? Have you met any of those people? We've all heard the story of like Angel Delgadillo, the small town barber in Seligman. He's in his mid-90s now, and he still greets people with a smile. He loves what he does every day. And a lot of people don't realize I was kind of there when this whole renaissance started with Seligman. He got a lot of opposition. Even in his hometown of Seligman, people, they didn't see this. And, but he persevered. He built partnerships. He fostered development of a sense of community, not only in Seligman, but along Route 66 in western Arizona. And then that was the seeds. There's other folks out there that we talk a lot. We know Jerry McClanahan, Jim Ross, Shelley Graham. They were true pioneers in the Route 66 monument. They still make tremendous contributions. I mentioned Michael Wallace. But how many people remember the contributions of Glinda and Tommy Pike or John and Lenore Weiss? People in Missouri might remember Glinda and Tommy. And in Illinois, they might remember John and Lenore Weiss, Dave Knudsen and Lenore out in California. That was the idea in 2014, and here's $1 million idea. If there's any community organizers out there, please feel free to jump in here and steal this $1 million idea. Please. In 2014, we had this idea in Kingman, and then it fell apart for a multitude of reasons. But the Route 66 Walk of Fame. The idea was to honor the famous people, the Michael Wallaces, the Jerry McClanahans, the Jim Rosses. But we also wanted to honor the unsung heroes, people like John and Lenore Weiss. Nolan, would you like to tell us a little bit about John Ruggles? I'd sure like to hear that. I've heard the name. I sure don't know much about him. When it comes to Tulsa, the people that most often come to mind for me and a lot of people is Reese Martin. He's an endless source of inspiration for me and for countless others. And he's currently the president of the Oklahoma Route 66 Association, and he's got an interesting website, Reese's Pieces. He writes a great blog, and Cloudless Lens Photography. His photography exhibit, by the way, just debuted at the Oklahoma Route 66 Museum in Clinton, Oklahoma. Reese is one of those fellas that seem to be able to squeeze 30 hours into a day, but he's yet to always quick to lend a hand when he's asked, and he'll do it with a smile. Now, less well known is his charming wife, Sam. These guys are the dynamic duo. She's involved with the city of Tulsa, and if we had a Route 66 Walk of Fame somewhere, Reese and Sam would definitely be on my list of nominees. Let's give you an idea of some of the Sam's projects. Take a look at Oklahoma Route 66 Association. There's an innovative program that's catching attention. The Route 66 Explorers Club for Kids. That was Sam's idea. Those are the kind of people I'm talking about. Now, Nolan mentioned James Ruggles in Tulsa. He's working with the arts community. I'd sure like to hear more about that because I don't know a great deal about it. And I don't know a great deal about James Ruggles. He sounds like a fellow I'd like to meet and a fellow I'd like to know more about. In Kingman, this is my adopted hometown. And, I got a few folks that are endless source of inspiration. I mentioned Dora Manley. It's kind of a real unsung hero here in Kingman and, in the Route 66 community. And one of my friends, this John McCain book again sparked this. McCain is catching a lot of flack from modern era Republicans, which kind of intrigues me. And I got a friend here in Kingman that's been catching a little flack from some folks, and I'm really surprised by that. That's another reason. And Sarah Elizabeth, you can find her on Facebook, social media. Sarah is just a vibrant and passionate and giving young lady. And in Kingman, certain circles, she's pretty well known. But she's played a big role in just about anything that has happened downtown for the last 6, 7, 8 years. She's been an instrumental part of the Renaissance in downtown Kingman. If anybody plans an event downtown, she and her husband are usually among the first to volunteer. And she's a member of Kingman Main Street. And she has contributed countless hours to that organization and bringing a lot of those projects to fruition. Sarah, and she's partnered with a couple other gals and opened west of 3rd on Beale Street. It's one block off Route 66. I hope every one of you can get to Kingman sometime in the near future and see the dramatic transformation downtown. A lot of it's been centered on Beale Street, one block off Route 66. But now it's spreading to Andy Devine. They started work on the historic Hotel Beale. Tim and Lenore Webb have taken over pretty much between 2nd and 3rd Street on Andy Devine Avenue, which is Route 66. And gosh darn, they have really transformed a block of, decrepit buildings. Just horrible. They turned it into a destination. Ice cream parlor closed for almost, it was a restaurant in the 30s. Building's been empty for, decades. It's now an ice cream parlor. Roadhouse next door was turned into a coffee shop. But they've been busy. And these are, again, unsung heroes. Nolan, thank you. He's a violinist, performs. Chris Tuttle, he's out there with Arizona Podcast and the 66 Minute. I'm sure he's discovered some pretty interesting folks out there on the road. Tucumcari. I've gotten to know Connie Loveland with the Main Street organization there. And talk about someone who loves their hometown and suffers the slings and arrows. And outside of Tucumcari, it's pretty much not very well known. She's forging a pretty good link in this chain that is the Route 66 community, doing a lot of transformation. Now, like I said, I sure don't want to be the only one beating my gums here this morning. My idea today is to get a discussion going about inspirational people that inspire you, people that have inspired you to do things and what you've done with that inspiration. That's what we want to talk about a little bit today. And linked with that is the future of Route 66 in the second century. How does that play into it? Well, while you're giving that some thought, this weekend, the Birthplace of 66 festival is taking place in Springfield, Missouri. And that started out, I'm not sure who started it, to be honest. Some downtown business people, a couple folks. If anybody knows the origins of that, who really was the brainchild and who started tirelessly working to bring that to fruition, I'd like to know, because I'd like to give them a shout out. This event started out as a means of supporting downtown local businesses, a little bit of historic business district revitalization, car show and whatnot. And it has morphed with volunteers, with passionate people with vision, with inspirational people at the helm. It has morphed into one of the largest events on Route 66. My understanding is more than 60,000 people will be turning out for that event. And this is in a town of, 180,000 people. I mentioned, we were talking about here in Kingman. And like I said, Kingman Main Street has accomplished some amazing things. And I mentioned Sarah. Sarah was so instrumental, her and her mother both, but there's others. These are unsung people that have inspired me and inspire me. Give you one example. The project they did downtown with the narrated historic district walking tour, they brought that to fruition. That project was on the drawing board since about 2014, but they brought it to fruition. And now it's morphed into an absolute portal to Kingman tourism. Check out the website. It's at kingman.tours or kingman.tourism. And Sarah's one of the great ones here. Hey, I see Sarah's with us today. Miss Sarah, would you like to say a few words to the audience today? I'd sure like to hear a little bit about Main Street and the projects that you're working on. Didn't want to embarrass you there, but I had to give a shout out to some of the people who inspire me. Kingman's full of these kind of people, and I speak a lot about Kingman because, well, this is my adopted hometown. It's a place I'm familiar with the most. I mentioned Kingman Main Street. Not only is they behind this walking tour, but they've been instrumental working with the Colorado River Trail Alliance, the city of Kingman, on developing a great urban trail system here. Main Street and with Sarah and Beth, they're spearheading work on now the Hotel Beale facade renovation project, downtown beautification projects. These are the unsung heroes we need to be talking about. So I'd sure like to hear from you guys and see what you think. Leanne Toohey's with us today. She's one of the unsung heroes. She's a source of inspiration. Take a look on Facebook at some of the things that she's doing in Oatman, helping build that sense of community and transforming that community there in Oatman. And you got Judy Thornton down in Needles. She's tireless. And I'll tell you another young man that I really like is Brady Wilson. I got to tell you about this young man. I didn't know much about him. He popped up on the scene a couple of years ago. How many people are familiar with Brady? Brady's a young fella. My guess is somewhere around the 20 years of age. He's an agricultural student at West Texas A&M University. And I had the privilege of meeting him and his father in Tulsa at the AAA Route 66 Road Fest. What an amazing young man. That tells me that the future is in good hands. The future of Route 66 is in very good hands. You'll find his handiwork all along Route 66 in Oklahoma and Texas. He contributes a lot. One of the things he's been doing is designing, and providing stamps for people to stamp passports, custom for their business, T-shirt designs. Angela Moreland in McLean, Texas, she gives Brady a lot of credit for her accomplishments in that town. See, these are the unsung heroes. Would anybody like to join in this morning and join this conversation? I don't want people to think I'm just sitting here beating my gums by myself. We got a full house here. Even Brady Wilson, well, I'll be darned. Mr. Brady, your ears must have been burdened. Hey, Brady, could you talk to us a little bit about what's going on in Springfield? I'd sure like to hear more about the Birthplace of Route 66 Festival if you're interested in. Mr. Brady. Brady, how are you today, young man?
I'm good, sir. Can you hear me?
I sure can.
I got you going through my car radio, so I wasn't sure if it was working or not.
God bless. Your ears must have been burning. We were sure talking about you today, young man.
They must have. I appreciate you doing that, and I appreciate the kind words.
You bet. You bet. Today's program, what we were trying to do was talk about inspirational people. People that you don't see too much, but they cast a big shadow. The things they accomplish and the things they do. And you're one of them. You're the future, my friend.
Well, it's hard to say that myself. I mean, I just live life every day and go about it and keep doing what I'm doing. I don't think about the future very often, but it's good to know that I am one of those that can continue the legacy.
Yeah, you betcha. It's and we were talking about folks such as yourself that you don't ask for much. It's all
No.
you want to do is help. And
It's my explanation of it all is it's my way to find peace, comfort, and relaxation after the midst of some busy college work.
yeah.
After a week of working a good but busy job and also doing schooling all week long, it's good to finally go out and just enjoy life with other people, good people, and help preserve some history.
Hey, you're in Springfield, Missouri today?
I am. We are having one last little breakfast as a group of roadies and heading home. Man, what a tremendous event this was. Oh my goodness.
I hear nothing but good about the Birthplace of Route 66 Festival. And I guess, this event started as just a small downtown event designed to support the local businesses and bring awareness to the historic business district.
Well,
Kind of
and
like
actually, it
yes.
started, the first ever one was a group of car club people at the original Steak and Shake here in Springfield, Missouri, which
Okay.
isn't even in downtown.
Okay. We do an event here in Kingman, the third Saturday of every month, April through October, chilling on Beale downtown, and that's played kind of a similar role in helping create awareness locally and in the Route 66 community with travelers to what's downtown. So, how big was the festival this year? How big do you think we got?
It was very big. I've heard, as far as the car show, 700 to 800 cars, and they hit a record. I don't remember the exact number, but I heard it was a record broken for the car show. Saturday was the busiest day. Everybody who wasn't at work came down to the festival and enjoyed it. Very, very, very busy day. The downtown square was packed, and the one street they had blocked off for about, I don't know, mile and a half, 2 miles was busy, busy, busy. and it was a good time of conversations and stuff. And then you've got the old glass place building here in Springfield. That's where all the Route 66 collectors and associations and book authors and all that are at. And that was a fantastic little thing to go talk to some of these folks that I haven't met before. Mike Ward, um, Stephen Ryder, people like that, and just enjoy the stories and the experiences they've had. And that I'll probably do a few of my own now. We're going to talk about some vintage motels I may have to go try out now.
That's these events. It's not just Route 66, but it happens everywhere. But there's something unique about Route 66 where it is a linear community. And you mentioned like Steve Ryder. Well, I'm glad he's up and about. I know he's out of New York.
Yes.
He is extremely generous with his postcard collection. A lot of the illustrations in my book come from Steve Ryder's collection. He's another unsung hero who's tireless, volunteer, inspirational.
Yes.
Mike Ward. I can't say enough about Mike out of Mesa, Arizona. He not only gives generously of his photo collection, but he traveled up and helped in the Painted Desert Trading Post restoration and a lot of other projects. Yeah, it's a great set.
Yeah.
It's a great community.
That was one very, very good time. State associations from Kansas and Missouri were there, and some Missouri counties like the city of Joplin and Carthage and
Pulaski County. Pulaski County.
Yep. I can't remember the one that's over with Lebanon.
Pulaski County.
That one slipped into it.
I work a lot with Pulaski County. Beth Wiles out of Pulaski County tourism, and my goodness, there again, there's that is inspirational people who give tirelessly of themselves for the betterment of their communities and the Route 66 community.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So are you headed home today?
I'm heading back today. I'm fixing to pop in for breakfast real quick and head back to Texas.
Well, hopefully
make a few little excursions on the way, and
of course.
So, for anybody that hasn't been to the Birthplace Festival in Springfield, Missouri, first weekend in August every year, it's a big grand time. Even if you only go to the festival 1 of the 2 or 3 days, you just experience Springfield, the goodness it has to offer, and the good food, rather. Oh, my Lanta. I think I've gained 25 pounds this weekend.
I found it.
And, but yes, come by and enjoy it one year. You've got to while you're out and about, and put it on your list to do.
Brady, thank you for that.
Yes.
Enjoy it. Yes.
One last thing, the History Museum in the square of Springfield. You guys need to plan 4 hours, or that may not even be enough time to look through it. It's about 5 floors of stuff, and 2. They have one Route 66 birthplace exhibit, and then a second one that's temporary regarding motels and hotels of the route, and just a fantastic little museum to experience. Or I said little; it was a big museum.
Did you get to see the experience they've developed around the shootout with Wild Bill Hickok and Mr. Tuthill?
I did. That is crazy.
Isn't that a pretty neat exhibit?
Yes, and there's a medallion. There's a little medallion in the street right there outside of the museum too.
Yeah, very good. Well, I won't keep you from your breakfast, but thank you for taking a few minutes and chiming in and sharing a little bit about that, because I'm really curious about the Birthplace of 66 Festival. There's some great events. Every one of these events we owe to these kind of inspirational people we're talking about right now.
Absolutely.
They give of themselves.
I could not agree more.
Brady, you travel safe. And what we're going to do, hopefully our paths will cross again. Maybe next year in Tulsa, maybe beforehand. And perhaps you and your pa Maybe you're doing your
Hope
paw. Get
so
out
too.
this way.
Yeah.
Come on.
We're trying.
I look forward to that visit.
Yes, us too, Jim. Thank you so much, and keep
Drive.
doing what you're doing as well.
Thank you, sir. Drive careful. Hey, does anybody else want to chime in here? Well, good. Sarah's having a little bit of technical difficulty. See if we can get Sarah connected here. Sarah, how are you doing? Do we have Sarah? Let's see here. We're having just a tad bit of trouble with Sarah, but let's see if we can do this. We'll try this one more time and see what happens. You see this kind of events, this situation in Springfield is not only is this tremendous for the Route 66 community where people from all over the country come together. Think what this has done in Springfield for building a sense of community and community purpose. It's really something. Yeah, I started when Brady called in. I was talking about the walking tour, the narrated self-guided walking tour here in Kingman. It was developed with Kingman Main Street, Sarah, and the people of Kingman Main Street. This was a personal project for me. I've wanted to see this develop since 2014, preserving our history and building using that to build a sense of community in Kingman. But the greatest accomplishment of that event was that for the first time, I've been involved with Kingman projects here since about 1994. And that was the first time I've seen the community come together behind something. People who generally don't play well together came together to bring that project to fruition. Take a look at the website, kingman.tours or kingmantourism.com. I think you'll be very, very impressed. And I'm so sorry we're having trouble connecting with Sarah this morning. Sarah, if I can get Sarah here, I guarantee you're going to be inspired. She is so bubbly in her personality. She's got an infectious enthusiasm for pretty much everything. Pretty amazing gal. The folks who kicked off this renaissance, they're getting a little long in the tooth. People like Michael Wallace and Angel Delgadillo, who's now in his 90s. And even folks like myself that are building on the legacy of these pioneers. People like me, we're getting a little gray around the muzzle. Well, let's see here. I cannot get... isn't technology is
Hello
just
there.
all... Miss
Hello there.
Sarah.
Oh,
How are you?
it's working. Yay.
I am so sorry we frustrated you on a Sunday morning.
Oh, that's okay. I don't know how I troubleshooted that because I am the least tech person in the world.
I'll bet you I can give you a run for your money.
I don't know about that. You're doing pretty good with all this technology these days. I've never listened to a podcast that was so interactive, and I am enjoying it so much.
Oh, I'm glad, Sarah. I'm even happier that you were able to join us. I hope I didn't embarrass you, and I hope I didn't make your head swell so your hat don't fit. But I was talking about people who inspire me, people who transform communities. And I got to, like I say, I don't pass out compliments lightly. But you are one of the people that inspire me because you have such an infectious personality. You're always smiling. You're quick to volunteer. And so, sometimes I know people in your position, you end up doing pinata impersonations a lot, but
Yeah.
you do it well. So
Oh,
how are
Jim,
I'm so
thank you.
excited. What you and Main Street are doing is just transformative, and I think a lot of communities could benefit from what you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much, Jim. Oh, and I heard you say such wonderful things about Kingman Main Street and about myself. And that is just so nice. I mean, I'm telling you, it can be hard. And a lot of times it just is completely shocking to me because I think, we really are all volunteers just trying to make our community the place we know it has the potential to be. I mean, Kingman is amazing. And we always talk about how, it just has the most amazing potential. But it's really neat to start seeing these things come to fruition. So, but that being said, it is so amazing. I feel so loved and supportive right now more than ever before. I mean, just like you coming out and reaching out and inviting me to be on the show. But you were talking about that project that was in the works, this narrated tour for, did you say 14 years? It was a
Since
dream.
2014, we had a
Oh,
young lady here at the festival in 2014 named Carolyn Hassenfratz, and she was working with QR codes. And we sat down and had a discussion with her. Let's see, Kaiser Bartuli, the National Park Service Corridor Preservation Director, the Chamber of Commerce Director at the time, and the city manager at the time. We all talked to her and we talked about how that could be used to develop a walking tour.
yeah. Oh my gosh. I just love it. Well, and my part of the dream in that was there are so many of us that love you, Jim, and we love your voice, and you're such a great storyteller. And so my dream of it that was super humbling, and thank you for allowing us to do it, was that statue of you at the very beginning where you welcomed
Yeah.
people to Kingman and you then guide people on this tour because people want to take the tour because Kingman is amazing and our history is amazing, but they want to take it because you're guiding the tour, you know? So
Well,
thank you for being humble enough to allow us to create a life-size statue of you.
I
And
would.
it is such a beautiful courtyard. And we were able to bring the bricks on 66 back. You're right. There were so many partnerships and bridges that were built. And I think that's one of the wonderful things about Kingman Main Street is we're kind of like the new kids on the block. We really have no beef, you know. I was born and raised in Kingman. I just can't help myself. I just love this community, and so it's been so cool and such a privilege to be able to just dream things and have so much support and see them come to life. So I just wanted to say that about you. When you told me about this dream for the tour, I was like, this is the best idea ever. Why are we not doing this? So we just
Uh,
got to work.
Sarah, not just Main Street, but like I say, we were talking about the people who are. Yeah, there's a statue of me, and I'm honored and humbled. But it's everything I've done is built on the work of others, and
Yeah.
it's the people behind the scenes. We were talking about that 2014 festival in Kingman. That was not only
Yeah.
historic for Kingman, but it transformed that gave birth to the Miles of Possibility Conference. That's where the European Route 66 festivals were born.
Oh my
Electric vehicle
gosh.
charging stations went in Shamrock, Texas, because of that event. But it was, yeah, my face was in this thing a lot, but it was Dora Manley. She is
Yeah.
the one
Oh.
that she really poured herself into this thing and built the coalitions, the partnerships, and the here in the local, that did this. And as a result, she's one of the unsung heroes, definitely.
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh, absolutely.
And Sarah, and you and your mother and Main Street, and you've been your ability to build a network of community partnerships. It's pretty astounding. And some of your work, and there again, it's not a Sarah show or a Jim show. We build partnerships, but you've
Yeah.
contributed so mightily to these things, getting people excited. This recent revitalization of Beale Street. What an
Yeah.
absolute amazing transformation.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's been absolutely wonderful. And our eyes are on Route 66. So it's we've got some ideas that, that's kind of that's where we're going. So we're really excited about a few ideas that are really doable. So that's kind of where we're headed now. And you'd mentioned before the Hotel Beale. This
Can
is
we talk
this
about
is
that?
our we just
Okay.
signed a contract with the family. We are in partnership. We just sent we actually were awarded the Arizona Route 66 grant. And from the Route 66 Association of Arizona for 25,000. So we have now we're starting to work with some prestigious historic architects, Johnny Stewart and Bill Otwell. So Bill Otwell has won awards, is just such an amazing historical architect, and he's coming out of retirement to work on this project. He also worked on the Powerhouse Visitor Center. Johnny Stewart's team worked worked on the Beale Street. So they know Kingman and are so excited to work with us. I think they're giving us a heck of a deal, and are just going above and beyond what they're gonna offer us. So um, we're really excited. This is actually the first time I've talked about this because this just happened.
Oh, it's
So
I tell you,
so we're moving forward. We are so excited.
any work on the Hotel Beale is just like pouring jet fuel on the renaissance in our historic business district and Route 66 corridor. It's
I
jet
know
fuel. It's
it
it's
is
going to
such
really.
yeah. It's such a historical treasure, and we all feel like this is our Hotel Beale. And so it's just absolutely amazing. Tammy Hinman, she is the property manager. She runs the Sportsman's right now, and works really great with the family, and she's going to be the liaison, and she's really excited. So I just think that this is going to be such an amazing restoration. And yeah, we're going to need lots of community support. And I think we're going to have lots of events. We're going to have a fundraising raising site. We're going to let people know where we're at the entire way, every step of the way. So yeah, we're so excited. Uh,
Well, the community support will be there, but not just in Kingman. I think that the Route 66 community, the international Route 66 community, will be here to support you in this. I'm very confident of that. When we first started doing the kicking around the idea of the Route 66 Walk of Fame, the first iteration in 2014, when the project started to fall by the wayside, Dries Bessels of the Dutch Route 66 Association, he reached out to the tourism office. He offered to do all the marketing and help put together an international fundraiser. So
wow.
I'm very, very confident that you will have full support for this endeavor. One thing I needed to ask you though, and I'm really proud of what you've done. I have watched your evolution and your shop west of Third. How are you doing with that? You doing well?
Summers for retail are always a little slow, but we do have such a wonderful partnership, and it's a co-op. I have two wonderful partners, and we just pull together on everything. It's absolutely amazing. And because my partner Andrea from Rosebud Farms does all the local food, I mean, she is the food mover in our region. She goes from farm to farm and picks up organic, locally grown food from one place and brings it to the other. And she's got a whole network there. And her dream is just making locally grown organic food accessible to everyone. And so it's such a great resource for our community. They have senior boxes they give away. They've given away at the food bank. They have pickup where you can go to Black Mountain Elementary School and just pick up bags of food for free, no questions asked. So it's a really, really great business. And she does a lot with Pinnacle Prevention. She gets grants and and that, and so that's what allows her to be able to do that. But the great thing is that food, people come all the time for food, so people are always coming into our door, and so my business does really well because of it. um, but this streetscape has helped us immensely. Uh, our our sales went up 60%. And so this has been consistent where, it has helped us immensely. And I'm so grateful that this investment was made in our community because it almost didn't happen. And so our sales tax being our only source, one of our only sources of revenue, that's so important. So I can just tell you it's working. It's working. Our business is doing well, and I've heard from other businesses that they're doing better as well. So it's exciting.
I got to admit, if I would have bet against this project's fruition, I would have lost my butt. But I've seen this for several years. We've talked about doing this, and it never materialized. I was excited to see this, and I was telling people earlier today that if they're traveling Route 66, a lot of people miss Beale Street. Yeah, I've worked with Marian Pavel on this, the developer of the Route 66 navigation app. And even though it's not Route 66, we through the navigation app, we encourage people. We have points of interest along Beale Street on the navigation app because people need to experience Beale Street, and we can stretch a point. I mean, it's not US 66, but it used to be Highway. It used to be Highway 466. So we're splitting a hair.
Yeah, hey, I appreciate that. But hey,
Yes.
did you one thing, this is one thing that I would love to talk about because this was one of the most fun things that um Kingman Main Street got to be involved in because our community came out like crazy. We had a local artist design a shirt. It said "Believe in Beale Street." Do you have one of those shirts, Jim?
I don't. I'll have to
We
stop
need to get
by.
you one. So,
Yes.
the community came out. We created a group called Friends of Downtown. And this group is great. We can call on them whenever we need support. So we're super excited about that. But everyone put on their shirts. We had signs and we marched down to city council when they were making that vote. And we all stood in the council chambers and it packed the room, just packed, standing room only. I mean, it was so amazing. And then there was only two council members that voted against it, and the rest voted for it. And a couple had changed their minds to end up voting for it. And so it was just so energizing. It was so fun and cool to see the community come together. So
There are
that's
so
something
many
we're really
exciting
proud of.
things. I'll tell you another one to be very proud of is that new trailhead at the end of 4th Street behind the courthouse.
Oh
The
my
parking
gosh.
lot and the
That
trailhead.
Yeah,
We
and
we should
that's
be
Mike Mearsman with the Parks Department. He has such a passion for trails. And so he has really been advocating for trails and working hard. Also, Colorado River Area Trail Alliance, Ed Mann, one of your buddies, and that whole
yeah.
team, my gosh. Um, yeah, that's a
We should be promoting that trailhead, not just for the trails, but people traveling Route 66, what a great scenic overlook.
Oh my gosh,
What a
absolutely.
What a great place. Chris Tuttle is with us this morning from Arizona Podcast. Chris, if I may, we talk about guests and things. I got one here for you. I think you might want to talk to Sarah. Chris says that your enthusiasm, your excitement is infectious. And he
Oh,
says,
thank you, Chris.
I think you'll be hearing from Chris Tuttle. He likes to, I think he's got the Arizona Podcast and the Mother Road Route 66 Minute. And I think you'll be hearing from him, Sarah.
Oh,
I
that's
think,
so great, Chris. Thank
yeah,
you.
I think he'd really like to talk about Main Street and the projects that's happening, the Beale Hotel, those kind of projects. I think he'd like that very much.
That would be amazing. I would love it. Well, I don't want to take over your show, Jim. So
no
I'm
problem. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Sarah, we don't visit often enough. And like I say, I don't want to give you a big head, but like I say, you are a source of inspiration for myself and others in the community. And you keep that in mind, and say hello to your mother for me. She's another source of inspiration.
Oh, she loves you, Jim. Thank you so much. I just appreciate it so much. We appreciate it so much. If anybody would like to become a volunteer member of Kingman Main Street, you can for free at just the cost of a t-shirt so that you can sport that Kingman Main Street at all over town. Join us. Come have fun. We are a really fun group, and join Friends of Downtown.
Send me some link, and I will get that up on the website when I publish the podcast today, and I'll also get the information up on my website.
Absolutely. And just one last thing, Jim, wouldn't it be fun if we lit that sign on top of Hotel Beale for our unveiling?
Oh, now you've opened a can of worms. I don't
Okay.
know. I don't know what happened. I don't have the details, and I'm not casting aspersions, creating any kind of issues.
Yes.
But oh gosh, before the apocalypse, before 2020, about 2019, 2018, I had facilitated a discussion with Kaisa Bartuli of the National Park Service Route 66 Corridor Preservation Project. And we were inches away from getting a approval for one of the largest grants they've done. It would have been a matching funds grant to redo the roof and to relight that sign. And I really think that sign needs to be done. But we're going to have to combine it with roof repair and strengthen that. And I'll give you one more. I'm pretty sure they're still there, but down in the basement, Damon had, I can't remember how many, but down in the basement were some letters for that sign, original, still wrapped in the paper and still in the boxes.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah.
So let's do this.
Let's do it. All right, Jim, thank you so much. What a fun way to spend my Sunday morning.
I hope we did not, with this technology stuff. I hope we didn't frustrate you too much today.
It's the story of my life. It's fine.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time doing this. It gives me incentive to meditate on becoming an Amish farmer as a career move.
Me too. Let's do that after Beale.
Okay. Miss Sarah, take care.
Take care. Thank you so much. You might have to hang up on me because I don't know how to do it.
All right. Bye-bye, Miss Sarah. Oh, my friends, I tell you what. You see what I mean with Sarah? Just an absolutely infectious enthusiasm. And, gosh. Oh, great, Nolan. Great. We've got to hear more about US 6. Folks, I'm glad we had some people join in today because I spend enough time talking to myself and arguing with myself. And this program is not a gym show. That was never the concept and never the idea. The idea is it's about you. It's about a sense of community. It's building a network of partnerships. It's about getting people excited about things. And it's about finding what we have in common and not what divides us. That's what this program's all about. We got some great programs coming up. We're going to be talking to, in a couple of weeks, we're going to be talking to author Cheryl Eicher Jett. And she's got quite a story to share, not just in regards to her book writing, but we're also going to be talking to Lisa Kinsinger. Now, Lisa has quite a story, but she also has quite a property share. She is the manager. Let me find this here for a wonderful hotel, the Americana Motor Hotel in Flagstaff. This is a fully renovated property, kind of a resort type property now, but it has a Route 66 connection. It dates back to the very early 1960s. That's going to be a great program. We're going to have that in September. The Cheryl Jett I mentioned coming up, I believe, on the 25th. She's not only an author, a very accomplished author, but she is one of the organizers of the Miles of Possibility Conference. She was here for the Miles. She was here for our 2014 Route 66 festival. She was so fascinated with she found interest in the Crossroads of the Past and Future conference that we had, that she took the idea back to Illinois and managed to sell this, and it became the annual Miles of Possibility Conference. And the conference this year returns to Edwardsville, where the first conference was held at the historic Wildey Theater. And again, I've spoken, except for the year of the apocalypse, I've spoken at every Miles of Possibility conference since 2015. This year, I will be speaking on the evolution of Route 66, the marketing that transformed it from highway to icon. Sarah, Josh Langan, if you can send me his contact information, I would be most appreciative. And pie in the sky. Oh, if I got some ideas. I think I know where he's going with this. Please, if you can set me up with a contact, I would love to talk with him. Folks, before we button this up this morning, does anybody have any last thoughts, anything they want to throw into the mix? Well, if not, I got to give a shout out to some of our sponsors. To the city of Tucumcari has been awful good to me. It's great to work with them. I grabbed one of their visitors guides. I helped put that together for them. Connie Loveland is she's with the Tucumcari Main Street director, and just an amazing person. She's very passionate about her hometown. David Brenner, the Roadrunner Lodge Motel. We're grateful to him. He's a sponsor of the Jim Hinckley's America program. We also have our crowdfunding on Patreon if you want to support some of our development of our educational programs. Connie Eccles, Wagon Wheel Motel in Cuba. She's been a driving force for a lot of things there in Cuba. And most notably, her and her sister Reva, and then, of course, her Charlie. They brought the Wagon Wheel Motel, one of the oldest motels on Route 66. They brought it back from the brink of extinction. They transformed it into a living time capsule, an absolute destination. And another good sponsor, good friend of ours, is Louis Keene, one and only Louis Keene at the Uranus Fudge Company and General Store. We want to thank him for being a sponsor and for supporting our programs. And Steve Disbrow and his charming wife with Route Trip USA. Thank you very much. If you're planning a road trip, United States or Canada, Stephen and his wife are a lot like me. They tell people where to go, but only after they've tasted the enchiladas and tested the pillows. And if they haven't done it themselves, they keep consultants that can help put together a great road trip for you. I am pleased to have them as a sponsor. I'm also pleased to be one of their consultants that help develop road trips. Uh, Give a shout out also to Route 66 navigation app. They are also a sponsor of Jim Hinckley's America Now, and working with Marion in development of this app has been a tremendous honor and tremendous pleasure. And working on the Mother Road Route 66 Passport is a great, great project. I'm very excited about some of the centennial projects that they have in mind. I can't give you a lot of details at this time. And one last shout out, it goes to Gilligan's Route 66 Tours. They have a really extremely well-developed guided tour, Route 66. They also do a wonderful Mississippi River tour, by the way, from Minneapolis down to New Orleans. That's just spectacular. But they also have, aside from the guided tour, something that people might like, is a very detailed custom tour for Route 66. It's self-guided. They put everything together that you need for that trip. And they put it together, and it's wonderful. They work with Marion Pavel of Route 66 Navigation. He puts together a detailed guidebook, and he offers all kinds of little perks that go with this. By the way, Route Trip USA does this as well. And one of those perks is you can have dinner with Jim. Let me tell you where to go personally. So those are some great sponsors. You can find more information on our website at jimhinckleysamerica.com. I want to thank everybody who joined us this morning. I want to thank Sarah very much for taking time for her schedule. And Brady, thank you for that update from Springfield. Chris, I'll make sure that you've got Sarah's contact information. I'll let you two chat a bit. I think that she could fire up your program quite nicely. Anything else before we go? If not, well, I'll tell you what. Listen to some music from Joe, Woody, and the boys of the Road Crew. Road Crew
Say hello
66.
to a new friend on an old road. Take a 2-lane trip of memories into mysteries unknown. Come along for the ride. Jim Hinckley's America. Jim Hinckley's America.
Until next week, my friends. Vaya con Dios, mi amigos. Adios.